Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. The Drake Dragonfly is on concept sale until Monday, the 27th of June. The Drake Dragonfly is the perfect snub ship for anyone looking to live on the edge, with nothing separating the pilot from the dangers of space. The Dragonfly is much as adventure as a ship. Dual mode conversion allows the Dragonfly to operate on the ground or in space, and a rear-facing second seat means that you can even take a passenger. Sorry about that, that was the Drake salesman in me. So I'm actually quite excited about this sale. So what's available until Monday the 27th of June? So we've got the Dragonfly Black, and all these prices are excluding taxes. Dragonfly Black, that's $35. The Dragonfly Yellowjacket, which is a more limited edition version. The Blacks are always going to be made, and the Yellowjackets are limited edition just for the concept sale. Although we won't be able to get them in verse, they're going to be seen as limited edition and much rarer. Again, that's just $35. You can get two Dragonflies, the black and the yellow, as a pack together for $65, so you're just saving $5 there. But you can also grab two Dragonflies and a Caterpillar for $300. So with those packages, all of the ships there that I've just mentioned, and all those packages, whether they're standalone or in package, they all come with lifetime insurance, even the Caterpillar that's with those two Dragonflies. You can also purchase a standalone Caterpillar for $245. This only has 6 months insurance, and as you've clearly seen, the Caterpillar is back for this sale as well until the 27th of June. This may be the last time you can purchase a Caterpillar before it's hangar ready, and when a ship is hangar ready, sometimes their cost goes up, basically, so just be aware of that. If you wanted to grab a standalone Caterpillar, though, I would suggest not purchasing the 6-month variant. Grab yourself a Dragonfly and then just upgrade it. You've got the lifetime insurance on the Dragonfly, upgrade it to the Caterpillar using an upgrade, because you can upgrade any of these ships using upgrades during the concept sale as well. You'll find that in the upgrade section. I'll put a link in the description below. And then you'll have a lifetime insurance Caterpillar. Other than most ships, any pack that includes a Dragonfly in the concept sale will also be given 2 pieces of hangar flare, poster and a model, lifetime insurance on all the ships in those packs, and the self-land hangar. The Dragonfly basically comes with a self-land hangar. The Caterpillar, though, comes with a VFG industrial hangar, so any package that has a Caterpillar in it will get that VFG industrial hangar. And as I said, upgrades are available to all those ships we've just mentioned as well. So if you have a ship of a lower value, you can upgrade it or cross-chassis upgrade it. Again, links in the description. So let's talk about what the Dragonfly is, what it's capable of. The Dragonfly is basically a hover bike or a space motorcycle capable of both spaceflight and ground traversal. It doesn't have the ability to traverse from ground to space and space to ground. It does require a parent ship to be able to get down to a planet's surface and get back up to space, basically. And it also can't travel long distances. It's like those snub fighters. It doesn't have a Q drive, a quantum drive, or a jump drive, and it won't have the ability to fit either. It is dependent on its parent ship. Its class is that of a vehicle as well, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. It's like a Grey Cat or a Rover in that regard. It's got its own class of components. So the Dragonfly is kind of intended to be a lighter type of utility snub ship when compared to the Merlin or Archimedes. It's supposed to be an inexpensive space motorcycle for pirates, biker gangs. You're going to be using it for raiding, exploring, personal transport. It has so much utility, and it's going to be pretty damn fast and agile, enough to be quite heroic, but maybe a little overly dangerous. The Dragonfly is already being worked on in engine as well, so you don't have to wait too long before we're going to see it in game. So let's talk more about the vital statistics of this beast, or this tiny beast, this kitten, I suppose. So side speeds and systems wise, the Dragonfly is termed as a ultralight craft for space and ground. It's measuring just 7 meters with a mass of only 6,000 kilograms. It can carry 2 players, a pilot and a passenger, or 2 riders. They sit back to back, and the passenger will be able to fire his handheld weapons towards the rear of the craft. So they can use their FPS weapons. That's cool. That's something we haven't really seen before, although I expect we'll see it maybe more in the future, ships being able to do that. items and hardpoints wise, this space spike uses a new extra small class of component, vehicle-sized components. So all vehicles like Grey Cats and Rovers and that sort of stuff, that's a smaller component size for them. It's got a size 1 engine and 6 thrusters, a size 1 power plant, and a size 1 shield. Now, I'm assuming that these are literally the smallest a ship component effectively can be. I'm assuming they're all in the vehicle size. They're just super small. And that shield does form a bubble around the bike and protects effectively both riders, but they're still extremely exposed. You don't want to get hit. It also has 2 size 1 fixed weapon mounts. So I actually expect these size 1 guns to be from the current system. I don't see why they'd need to refactor weapons for vehicles, as the sizes kind of speak for themselves. A size 1 weapon would fit quite neatly on a bike like that. So I believe it's just the other components which are vehicle sized, and weapons won't change in their refactoring even for smaller ships. Any speed of this ship is coming from how lighter craft it is, and you want to be fast, you want to be dodging stuff, you don't want to take a hit. I expect we're going to see huge differences in speed with the Dragonfly, with the choice of components and having passengers. If you're laden with stuff, you're going to be heavier, and this ship is going to do a lot better. It's going to be a lot more agile when it's lighter. I do expect it to be, in whatever circumstance, quite agile, though, I suppose. It's like the smallest target in the verse when it's in space. It's going to be hard to hit, even for skilled pilots, and those riders, they really don't want to be hit. So let's talk a little bit about the Dragonfly's roles. On the ground, it's not going to be able to fly. It's going to hover just above the ground. It's not capable of atmospheric flight. It's not capable of being able to get itself into space and from space to ground. So it's going to have to rely on a ship to do that, or some form of parent. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be able to go over crevasses and water and that sort of stuff. I'm sure we'll find out later next week in the FAQs, though. More about that in a bit. For me, its main role on the ground, though, would be exploration. It's a very useful ship with a lot of utility, a lot of roles. I expect we might see it in some raids on the ground, some light combat on planets too, and maybe for killing the native wildlife as well. When we know more about the ground, we'll be able to see quite obviously the role that this bike will play. But I think they're quite vital just because they're so multi-rolled. And with that in mind, in space, when it's in space, it's got so much more freedom, it's got so much more utility, it really comes into its own. I'm going to expect these to be used for raiding and boarding a lot. Mining craft, cargo vessels, you're going to be raided. When you see these, when you see a group of these, you know you're going to be raided and boarded. So they'll have some light combat abilities. They don't want to take hits. They are very small. They're annoying like gnats, and in large groups they're going to be quite powerful. Rapid response in general, they're going to be used to quickly intercept stuff. If you need to scramble something out quickly for some reason to buy you time, or if you need to travel from up one end of an Idris to another, they're going to be great for travelling, for personal transport, quick movement between ships in a fleet. But also, they're going to be damn good for short-range recon. You're going to be able to explore asteroid fields, and that precision exploration and scouting is something that only the really small ships can do, like the M50 and the other snub fighters. So the fact that they've got so much utility and they're so small and packaged, it makes them very, very good to me. Also, we're going to see these in swarms. We're going to see these in giant swarms because they're so inexpensive, and that's the joy of them, really. But packed-wise, these ships pack up nicely to fit into various ships. A decent number, we've been told, will be able to fit into a Caterpillar. Now, they haven't decided on a hard limit, but it's been suggested that 2 or more will be able to fit in each of the modules. And we know that the Caterpillar's got 4 modules for cargo and what have you that will be interchangeable. So I'd expect probably at least 8 would be able to go into a Caterpillar. That's a lot of ships. That's a pocket carrier right there. But the Dragonfly and its ability to be carried on other ships isn't exclusively for Drake ships. Many other ships will be able to have them in there as well. It's really super small when it's packaged, basically. When I say packaged, when it's compressed down. So you're going to be able to put one into a Freelancer, for example. And they were talking about being able to possibly in the future crate them up for storage too, but they haven't actually decided on that one. They specifically listed that you can't carry them in an Avenger or a Reliant, but I'd expect that would be the same for, like, I don't know, an Aurora and that sort of thing as well. Just be sensible with it. They're very small. They're going to be able to put on a lot of ships. I quite like the way it looks, and it's down to personal preference. Drake are very much sort of like old technology that works still, and this looks like someone's tried to invent a hover bike from the 80s. I like that look. It's super small as well, and I like what they've done with it. It's very utilitarian. It does what it says on the tin, but it's gonna have its downsides, which are, if you get hit, you're probably dead. Suitability wise, it's not a starter ship, so keep that in mind. It can't have a quantum drive or a jump drive, nor can it fit them, and it requires a parent ship, to travel distances, to ferry it from planet to planet, to ferry it from system to system. So it's not really suitable for the only ship on your account, unless it's some sort of crazy special circumstance, or you're pairing with some other people that have got larger ships and you're constantly going to be around with them. Nor is it for heavy combat. It's intended for utility or very light combat, or in a large group with other ships for raiding and for other circumstances. I do expect them to work pretty well in a swarm when they've got a parent ship like a caterpillar, or as escorts for some larger ships as well. They're going to be very fast personal transports, lots of things. We discussed them earlier anyway, don't know why I'm going over them again, but being able to have that second rider, being able to fire his handheld weapons is pretty damn awesome. And I think that might not necessarily give you the edge in combat, although it might give you a little one, but you're going to be able to strafe stations and capital ships and try and target marines. You're going to be able to get in really close with the ship. I'm hoping that you'll be able to break and smash holes in ships, or maybe even fly around in cargo bays in ships. If you can imagine these in like the flight deck of a carrier that hasn't launched its ships, they're going to be able to wreak havoc if you got them onto a Bengal or something, got them in to the flight decks. I think that would be absolutely great. It's going to be some great emergent gameplay. We're going to have to see exactly what's available for us gameplay-wise in the future, but this is the sort of thing I see them for. So, alternatives to this, it's kind of quite unique in its pantheon at the moment. It's a space and ground vehicle, so yeah, it's pretty unique. The Grey Cat and Rovers will be suitable for groundwork, and I suppose comparable in space. It's comparable to that of the P-52 or the P-72. It's not really in the same sort of class as the M50, which is a full-on ship, and the P-52 and the P-72 are going to have a lot more protection. They are spaceships rather than a motorbike. So, is the ship good value? Should you buy one? For me, the ship has quite a lot of value and utility for so many reasons. You can use it as a lifetime insurance chip, as I'm sure a lot of people will. So you'd purchase one of these and then later upgrade it with a CCU or an upgrade to a ship that you wanted. You'd then keep the original package contents of lifetime insurance to whatever ship you purchased. So for that, it's very useful. A lot of people also have a game package with an Aurora or a Mustang on that they've just gone, well, I'll just have that as a starter ship then, and then have bought other ships. This is a cheap, effectively, upgrade from one of those ships. So if you've got a useless, and I say useless quite wrongly, a useless Mustang or Aurora, something that you think you're not going to use, it might be worth upgrading them to the Dragonfly, just so you can now put a bike in your freelancer that you also have in your account, or whatever. These Yellowjackets as well, the yellow ships, the yellow Dragonflys, they're limited edition. They're likely to be worth a lot of UEC in a few years in the verse, so for a collector, maybe. But the main reason you should actually buy one is that they're great as a second ship, and this is what I'd want one. They're great for exploring on the ground. They're great to put in to your freelancer. They're great to have on your caterpillar. They're going to be great to have on a lot of different ships. And because they're so small, they're going to be able to be put on a lot of different ships. Now, they're not going to be able to be put on every ship, so don't think that you're going to be able to fly around one with your Mustang. That's not going to happen. But being able to have it on your freelancer and go, right, I'm going to fly down to a planet on my freelancer, get out of my freelancer, and then ride around on a bike. I'm gonna fly around in a group of friends. One of my friends' ships gets injured. I can get out of my ship and then ride on my bike over to his, so that I'm slightly less inclined to get killed. But they're going to be great for raiding as well. If you thought about like, oh, I wanted to get a retaliator and I wanted to get the boarding pod. Well, that's a great idea, but you could you could get like a caterpillar, or you could get another ship, a cargo ship, and have loads and loads of these instead of a drop pod. Instead of having loads of Marines on board a ship, you could just have lots of bikes and then put people on bikes and ride them into combat. I really like the idea and the gameplay that the Dragonflies can provide. I expect we're going to see them in the verse a lot with pirates. We're going to see huge like collections of Buccaneers and Dragonflies and Cutlasses and Caterpillars all used together. Now, with that in mind, they didn't say that we'll be able to put them into a Cutlass necessarily. They haven't finished developing the new look of the Cutlass, so we'll have to see there. So keep that in mind. I do expect them as well to be quite good at racing, or at least to be in their own class of racing. You're going to be able to race them on the ground. That's what I'm after, ground races on motorbikes, but also in the skies. And I say in the skies, I mean in space. Actually, it is in the skies, a lot of those racetracks. But yeah, so I haven't really thought about it as a racer yet. We'll have to see how that evolves. But they're definitely going to be viable as a racer, even if you can only fly them against other bikes. So I'm going to continue my ramble with some more of my thoughts and variations and stuff. So obviously it floats around on its like anti-gravity pads on the floor. It hasn't got any wheels or anything. I really like this. I think it looks absolutely amazing, this ship. I like Drake. I'm a massive lover of Drake. So the two images that we can see really are of the yellow and black one. I really love the yellow one, and I love it more because I know it's like a concept sale exclusive almost. They won't be offered again to purchase, but you might be able to get them in the Versus limited edition, though they're going to be rare. And in lore, it's the first run that Drake are doing of these. So the black one's that standard kind of production one. They've talked about another 16 colours or up to 16 colours that they've experimented with and we're going to get in the future too. It appears in the brochure, and that brochure is worth looking at. I really want to get one of those brochures made physically. I mean, they look amazing. Leather-bound one. So I suppose I also better talk briefly about the Caterpillar, because the Caterpillar's on sale effectively with lifetime insurance at the same time. So I'll do a video on the Caterpillar, the updated Caterpillar, over the weekend, because it is one of my favourite ships and it needs its own ship buyer's guide, especially since the updates. It looks amazing though. I think they said over 100 metres, or around 100 metres in length, which is absolutely massive now. It's as close to a Drake Corvette as we're going to get, and I think it is going to be the biggest Drake ship, at least until the game goes live. So this might be the last time we can get a Caterpillar as well before it goes hangar ready, and be aware that ships normally go up in price once they're moved to the ready phase. So just, if you were waiting off on buying one, just remember that. Being able to launch lots of Dragonflies, it being a pocket carrier, that Caterpillar, is something I've long desired. It's the perfect large ship for me. Not too large that it's unmanageable, but pretty damn big and will work great with lots of people. It's got 4 giant interchangeable modules that we know about. The Caterpillars that we're purchasing, or that anyone that's previously purchased, they are the cargo variants effectively. They come with 4 cargo modules. These will be able to be swapped out, and we'll be able to purchase new modules in the future, but they haven't finished developing them basically. So we're effectively getting 4 cargo modules for free, or at least that's what it's coming with. For me, the Caterpillar is one of the most exciting ships in the verse. It makes me really happy, especially that they've increased the size, and I really did want a Drake Corvette, but this really hits all the right points. Imagine loading up the Caterpillar with a trio of Dragonflies, flying coast support for retrieval of a Cutlass Red ambulance, or strafing a massive cargo ship. It's all possible with the Drake lineup. Oh, sorry, I went into Drake salesman mode again, literally reading directly from the page. But yeah, Drake is always going to have that kind of, you're probably a pirate if you're flying around near me in a Drake ship. But I mean, people are going to feel cautious if they're mining or in a cargo ship anyway. I am going to be very much a lawful player. I don't really like piracy. I'm going to be fighting pirates a lot of the time. I might be running piracy on aliens, but not on other humans. So I'm going to be using Drake ships for that. I'm going to be using Drake ships for combat. I love the idea of Drake, but I'm a lawful player. They are suitable for whatever role you want, but it is very much function over comfort, and function and cheapness over newness and technology. But The loner for the Dragonfly is almost certainly going to be the Merlin, they've said. I believe the loner for the Caterpillar is the Constellation Andromeda. When I say loner, this is the ship that you're going to be given if you purchase them until they actually have them in the verse. So you'd have to use them in the Mini PU or Arena Commander. We have those black and limited edition yellow Dragonflies, but they're likely to be a huge range of colours to pick from in the future too, but that'll be closer to game launch. As I said, the Cutlass, they haven't decided whether Dragonflies are able to fit inside it, but all of these ships are designed to work together. Maybe not with an actual direct function, but the idea is that they all complement each other in battle. Or whatever function you want them for. So I just want to reiterate something for my own sanity. Upgrading ships without LTI means that that ship won't have LTI. So if the original package doesn't have lifetime insurance, then upgrading it won't mean it will get lifetime insurance. It always keeps the original insurance level of the package it was upgraded from. So just remember that. Conversely, you could get a lifetime insurance Dragonfly and then upgrade it to anything later, and it would still keep the lifetime insurance on it. So make sure you do that if that's the... Just make sure you do it the right way around, is basically what I'm saying. Check out that Drake Dragonfly brochure. It is extremely artful, if that's a word. I want a physical one so badly for that. And I suppose that's it, really, from the Drake Dragonfly and Caterpillar sale. Although we'll do a more in-depth Caterpillar video, and as soon as we get those questions and answers, there's FAQs. Next week I will also do a follow-up on the Dragonfly, explaining any questions that we might not have covered here, and some of the other burning questions that you have. Now please feel free to ask me anything in the description below about the Dragonfly, about the Caterpillar, about Drake, about Star Citizen. And remember, you don't need to purchase ships other than a starter package. The Dragonfly and the Caterpillar, they're all obtainable in verse. All those ships are obtainable in verse. You don't need to spend your IRL monies, and pledging is a way of supporting the game above and beyond what you need to do. If you're thinking you're going to get a giant advantage from purchasing ships, you're not, and you will be disappointed. So just keep that in mind. This is a way to kind of pledge towards the game, but also to get something cool. It is certainly to get something cool, let's face it. We're going to get a cool ship. I've just written in my notes in big letters, "You are rambling, please stop." That's my conscience speaking, so I will stop. Make sure you check out that sale. I'll put links in the description to all of that jazz, and I'll update them as we get more. I'll try and get this transcribed as best I can into an article as well with all the information. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm going to be buying a couple of Caterpillars myself, and as many yellow Dragonflies as I can, because, you know, limited edition. I'm a sucker for that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. It really genuinely does help me. And as I said, tell me what you think. Oh, and we also have a Drake Buccaneer giveaway. All you need to do to be in for a chance to win that Buccaneer is to comment on any of my Star Citizen videos throughout June. And I believe next month we'll probably do some form of Dragonfly giveaway. But stay tuned for that, or don't stay tuned, because stop watching now and then watch another video later. I'm going to go to bed. It's getting pretty late here. I shouldn't have stayed up to do this video. I'll see you guys in the verse.